on. Green lights apparent, away we go. Well, I said it should be fun. It's going to be for one driver. That'd be Ray. Goes 886 on the 883 at 140. Bert Dawson dead late out of the gate. A reaction time starting with a numeral other than 0 is generally not a good thing. He goes 87 on an 86 and comes up a 10th of a second short down at the other end of the racetrack. I'll let you do the math on that. Ryan Oggs, PK, race cars. 67 Camaro there on the left-hand side, taking on Jeff Dona. Dona trying to make some hay while the sun's shining this weekend. Pontiac Formula, Super H automatic entry, 978, and Ryan on a 970. In the Super E automatic, Chevrolet Camaro. Jeffrey bumps in. Ryan bumps in. Waiting on Ryan to bump in. Now Ryan's bumped in. Big block Camaro. Chasing down that 350 Firebird. Winner at the stripe, Dona. 78.5 on a 78. 15 on the tree. Jeff throws down a 20 thousandths package, and Ryan Hogg was mathematically eliminated before he left the start, or when he left the starting line. Dona with a 20 thou package advances to round number 3. Matt Morris and Ricky Decker. A couple of young guns in the super stock category getting ready to duke it out. Ricky will probably say young. Well, thank you. Anyway, Matt he's wheeling the family's latest edition, the Cavalier over there on the left-hand side. Out of the gate they go. Another good race shaping up on this end of the racetrack. Difference off the starting line, 5 thousandths of a second. Difference at the finish line, 500ths of a second. Morris gets down there, runs a 79 on a 79. 90 on an 85. Looks like Decker turned him loose down at the other end of the racetrack, and Matt goes, whew, got him. So Matt will be back. Ricky Decker's day is done. Austin Richardson. The race Strange. Chevrolet Camaro on the right, taking on Denny Breeden. This was your number 1 qualifier. Ended up getting bumped back to number 2. Drag back challenge. Now setting sail after the youngster in the Camaro. Super Comp, if you're not in the lanes, you're late. Super Comp. Need you to the lanes, please. Breeden gets the double breakout win. 57.8 on a 58. He's under by 2. 10.15 on a 10.21. Austin's under by a whole bunch more. So Breeden's drag pack gets to come back and play. Matt Walker. Hemi car, the 68 CUDA on the left-hand side for the runner out of Maryland, taking on Brian Siebenek. Little taxi cab powered Buick on the right-hand side. Pretty good handicap start. Going to go to Brian. 11.58 for the Buick. 8.85 for the Hemi CUDA. Walker wound that Hemi up. Now turning the pachyderm loose on the other end of the racetrack and gets the win. 893 on the 885. 1164 by Brian on his 1158. Walker 29 thou, better at the finish line stripe. Jeff Taylor in, another one of the Indiana Johns race cars. This time the Chevrolet Cavalier. Taking on son Chad Taylor. Father and son doing battle. Final pair, round number 2. Super stock. You know, they didn't want it to go this way. They prefer to meet in the final round. Let's see if Pops can beat the kid or if the kid can beat Pops. My question is, where does Mom stand in all of this? Oh, my. Dad's 11 on the tree. The kid's at 009, and the kid sends Dad home. Well, not yet, because the kid might need a ride. 9:39 on a 9:38. 9:57 on a 9:56. Chad was 009. Jeff was 002. Chad at the stripe is 004, the victor. So you got B00, take 00, and it's all coming into play between Chad and Dad. And Super Stock, round number 2 in the books. Super Comp getting ready to roll in next. Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, get them ready. And again, Top Dragster and Top Sportsman. If you're broke, let us know. We have alternates ready to step in. And if you're an alternate and can't step in, please let us know as well. Want to be able to make sure that we've got everybody set, squared, and ready to go. Round number 1 of our RacingRVs.com Top Dragster. Round number 1 of our RacingRVs.com Top Sportsman. The quickest ever fields in the histories of the categories. We call Top Dragster lanes, please. Top Dragster. Need you to the staging lanes, please. Top Dragster. Come on down. Super Comp. Calvin Keene, Devin Eisenhower, and the one, the only, Sparky. Well, that's what they call you, isn't it, Mr. Coyle? Sparky?
Not since I was 2 years old. Kelvin Keene over in the Race Kelvin side. Devin Eisenhower over in the Chevrolet side. As we start playing 890. 2 go down, 1 come back. Round 2, Super Comp. Devin and Kelvin. Both from this area. Devin a little bit north in Lebanon. Kelvin from Indianapolis. Indianapolis, for those that don't live here. Indianapolis for us lazy locals. Top bulb's on. Kelvin's in. Devin's in. Ooh. Kelvin got away a little quicker. But, oh, Kelvin with a 4, Devin with an 8, 200s at the stripe for Kelvin Keene. Takes Devin Eisenhower out. Michael Swan, Chevrolet side, the Race to Win Motorsports, Brewman Dragster. Wife and partner, Janice, over there watching. Over in the Race Gilman lane, Brian Mileham. Out of Mileham Motorsports, the undercover dragster out of Lawndale, Illinois. Well, Mileham had the tree and the finish line. Schwann tries to get around him and take the stripe, goes under by 5 thou. Mileham won over at 891, but he's 10 on the tree, 18 thou, 28 thousandths package. And Mike, well, was mathematically eliminated when he released the button. Ed Cook in the Fast Eddie, undercover Cardin Chevrolet lane. Greg Camplain from Brownsburg, Indiana, and the Camplain Machine, Mount Comfort RV, Lucas Oil, Spitzer Dragster, over in the Race Gilman lane. Cook's a little ahead on the tree. And in a double breakout, Cook takes the win. Cook's 4 thousandths under, Camplain 31 under. Scott Cook next up, Chevrolet side. Racecraft Dragster. Over in the Race Gilman side is Tommy Welch and his Phantom. Hey, for those of you parked over here on the east side of the track, Gate 2 will be opening momentarily. That's the gate down on the southeast side. They're at the east side of the staging lanes. So no road course requirement to get out of the track. Gate 2 will be open momentarily down here on the southeast corner of the park. Cook got about 1/100 in his pocket, and Cook takes the win in a double breakout. He's 2 under at 88. Tommy's 4 under at 86. Scott Mackey, the Babalu Racing dragster over in the Chevrolet side. Dirk Ross. Dirk over there in the Ray Skillman side out of Hicksville, Ohio. And Mackey was ahead on the tree, then gets down there and wonders where Dirk's at and shuts her off. Goes 9:22 to save it, make real sure he don't break out. And Dirk has some kind of problem, not much beyond 3:30. He shuts her off, goes 15:94. So Scott Mackey to round 3. And the starters over there mopping up a little bit of moisture or something on the starting line. Dust, rock, something. So we're down here for just a quick minute. Next up, the Professor Ron Finney will be up over in the Chevrolet side in the Renegade Race Fuel Cartel Dragster. And Rock Haas, the Haas Carruthers Racing American dragster. So Ron is a college professor, and Rock we'd probably call a super comp professor. Professor of drag racing. We'll see how that works out. Which professor takes the win? All righty, firing them back up. Professor Finney and Professor Haas in the water. Haas has a couple of credentials. Super Gas Champ in 10. Division 3 Super Gas Champ in 6. Super Gas All-Stars in 6. Division 3 Champ in 5 and 4. And an All-Star in 01. I think that qualifies him as a Super Gas Professor or a Super Comp Professor. So here we go. Professor Finney one side, Professor Haas over in the other. And the win light to Haas. He runs 88 with a 9, Finney 87 with a 5. Haas had about 13 thou in his pocket on the tree. Finney took the stripe by 14 thou, but that was too much. Breaks him out. So Rock Haas into round 3. Eric Wilkerson. Wilkerson Racing Dragster over in the Chevrolet side. Andy Hughes in the Hughes Racing Dragster over in the left side. The win light, Hughes. He's 3 over, 93 with a 2, Wilkerson also 3 over at 3 over with a 7. Hughes, though, had 13 thou on the tree. 5,000 more at the finish line, works out to 18 thou at the finish line for Andy Hughes. Danny Nelson in the Cars Protection Plus Racecraft Dragster over on the Chevrolet side. Jake Elrod in the K&N Fielders American Dragster left side. A lot of credentials here in this pair. Elrod won the finish line, the starting line and the finish line. 892 for Elrod, 888 for Nelson. Nelson was behind a little bit on the tree, then took too much stripe. Jake Elrod into round 3. Paige Coughlin in that Jegs.com McIlvain Dragster Chevrolet side. And over in the Ray Skillman side, you got Don Higgins. Higgins, Crew Chief Pro Software American Dragster. Higgins has won him a few. Won the Indy National Open a couple of times. I don't know if this is true. It says he's a retired underrun model. I ain't going there. Higgins, dead on 6. Coughlin, 3 over. Coughlin, 3 ahead on the tree. But Higgins, dead on 6, takes the stripe by 3 thousandths. Theoretically, Coughlin should have probably won that race, but didn't quite run a number that allowed that. Howard Michael in the Diamond Dragster over in the Chevrolet side, and Michael Shelton in the McIlvain car over there in the Skillman side. They're basically identical on the starting line. The double breakout win to Shelton. 86 with a 5. Howard quicker at 84 with a 4. Michael Shelton to round 3. Racing Jason Lynch in the Cars Protection Plus. Cavalier over here in the Chevrolet side. Over in the Ray Skillman side, Deacon Kalish. Kalish in the 32 Bantam. Miss Mia up here watching Racing Jason. Looks like my starter's shutting him off as he has identified something out on the track, down track. Oh, I see what it is. A car. Somebody went to play in the sand. So we're going to have to go down there and correct that issue. Well, I'm looking down track, and I'd say we're getting pretty close. I bet somebody's down there with a broom putting some of the beach back on the beach. So shouldn't be too much longer. By the way, I don't think I've said hello this morning to the D3 audience out there listening to us and watching us. We are, okay, I knew we were, but I thought I'd make sure. So I haven't said hello yet to y'all. Here we are in the final day of, believe it or not, a Division III points race that will be completed on the day that it was scheduled. Ain't that a refreshing possibility? Unkerfer thinks I'm jinxing us, talking about finishing a Division III points meet on time, as scheduled. Now I got Warren over there giving me grief too. If this thing don't end today, I'm in deep doo-doo, ain't I?
No, you're going to be 6 feet under. That's how deep you're going to be.
Ooh, Unkerfer going to bury me if we don't get done. Well, I'm so confident that we're going to get done, I'm going to stick with it. Well, Elimination Day is always a fun day, but the really fast fun stuff starts after we get done with this class. Not that this class ain't quick, but we start with top dragster competition and top sportsman after we complete the super comp cars. And then round one of alcohol dragster and funny car. All righty, I hear motors firing. Racing Jason Lynch right side, Deacon Kalish left side. The cars, Protection Plus door car and the Bantam of Kalish. Miss me and the crew down there watching Racing Jason. Not in his dragster today for whatever reason in the Cavalier. Well, Kalish in the top bulb. Jason just found it. Top bulbs both sides. Jason's in. Kalish is in. We're gone. And it's over. Kalish minus 10. Lynch, 887.6. The automatic winner as Kalish leaves 10th out too early, then runs 88.5. Rick Hughes, the A&A transmission. RCE Power Chassis Dragster out of Fishers, Indiana. Of course, that's one side of Indianapolis. A&A Transmissions down in Mooresville, actually on the other side of Indianapolis. And over there in the Ray Skillman side, Kendra Reinshield out of Brookville, Indiana, in the Fast Lube Armor Sealing American Dragster. Go. Kendra owns a tree. Kendra takes the win. She crosses the finish line second, 94 with a 2. Hughes 3 too quick. He was 5 behind on the tree, didn't have room to take the stripe. Ryan Shields to round 3. Rob Cropfield in his American Race Cars Dragster. Chevrolet side, Bill Rudy in the Mosier Race Tech Dragster. The Ohio Crankshaft car over there in the Ray Skillman side. Cropfield takes that win. Rudy breaks out, runs 88. Cropfield 95. First call, comp eliminator. First call, comp eliminator. 2, the lanes, please. Joey Fusting. Joey's over here in the Chevrolet lane in the Phoenix Industries McIlvain Dragster. George Kahele in the Kahele Racing Undercover over there in the Ray Skillman lane. Comp eliminator. First call to the lanes, please. They're off and running, coming up on the finish line. Who owns it? Fusting. Fusting 92 with a 9 to Kahele's 93 with a 2. Joey a little bit ahead on the tree, takes the stripe, goes into round 3. Pat Martin in the Armor Paving and Sealing American Dragster in the right lane. Russ Brown in the Russ Brown Motorsports A&E Dragster over there in the Ray Skillman side. Very close on the tree, going to the finish line to find the winner. And the winner, Brown, dead on 3 for Russ Brown. Martin 2 off at 892. So Russ Brown to round 3. Ed Jarosik out of Elyria, Ohio in the American Dragster in the Chevrolet lane. And Tim Garrison in the TGR Products Undercover Dragster over there in the Ray Skillman side. And at the stripe, the win light goes to Garrison. Garrison dead 4. Jarosik had 2 in his pocket on the tree. but he took the stripe by too much, breaks out by 1. Tim Garrison dead on the standard with a 4, goes to round 3. Shannon Mingy out of Urbana, Illinois, in the VFW Barnwell Glasgow American Dragster Chevrolet side. Ryan Richardson in the Strange Jags and Hoosiers sponsored American Dragster of Edmund Richardson. And Shannon, 5,000's too early. Ryan Richardson, the automatic winner, into round 3. 891.9 for Ryan. Dead on the standard with a 6 for Shannon, but Shannon left 5,000's too early. James Hinkle, Chevrolet side. Dennis Foster, Ray Skillman side. Comp Eliminator, you should be on the way to the lanes. Hinkle right side, Foster left side. Hinkle got 4 in his pocket and takes the win, 3 over at 893. Foster takes the stripe, runs under by 1.5. Taking the strike. So Hinkle into round 3. Adam Gerber, American Race Cars, American Chassis Dragster over here in the Chevrolet side. Zach Papp in the Oakley Motorsports, American, over in the left side. And the win light, Zach Papp. Zach runs 1 over, Gerber runs 2 under, trying to take the stripe, left too much laying on his starting line. Chad Lamont, Chad's over in the Chevrolet side, in the Lamont Trailer Sales Racetrack Tech Dragster, and Brandon Bergsnyder in the Undercover Dragster over there in the Ray Skillman side. Double breakout win to Bergsnyder, 86 with an 8. Lamont runs 86 with a 5. Margin of victory 44 10,000ths for Bergsnyder. Chuck Ridenauer, Chuck's A&A Transmission American Dragster, Chevrolet side. Angela Neely in the ATM Innovation, Papa M, American Dragster, over there in the Ray Skillman side. And the win light, Neely. Neely's 2 over at 892, but Neely had 5 in the pocket on the tree. Steve Hoyt over here in the Chevrolet side in the Don Lieberman Motorsports Advanced Chassis Dragster, and Bill Riddle in the Corrigan Race Fuel Atkins Dragster is over there in the Ray Skillman side. Got a good race on the starting line at the finish line to win, too. Steve Hoyt, he's 891 with a 9. Riddle's under by 3 at 887. Hoyt had the tree by 1.5. Riddle just took too much stripe. Steve Hoyt into round 3. Pat Fitzpatrick in the Lucas Oil Animal Gym Racing. Gebhardt Dragster over here in the Chevrolet side. Doug Wessler in the Wessler Motorsports Horton Dragster, Ray Skillman side. Well, Fitzpatrick had a big head start at the starting line, runs 93-1, and takes the win, 89 with an 8. Wessler trying to get around him, take stripe. Doug left way too much laying on the starting line. Jeff Spearling, Jeff's Auto Repair Dragster over in the Chevrolet side, and Philip Smida, the Intensity Racing Products, American Dragster, over there in the Ray Skillman side. Man, you want to look at a dragster with a cool paint job, look at Smida's dragster. You swear it's a wrap until you walk up and look at it really close. I'm telling you, that is a cool paint job. Sparling, minus 001. Smida, automatic winner. Shuts off the clock's 8:83.7. Goes to round 3. Kimbra Fusting, Bristol Hose and Fittings McIlvain Dragster Chevrolet side. Blake Richardson in the 16 America, the RBZ Billets car of Edmund Richardson over there in the Ray Skillman lead. And Fusting leaves 2000s too soon. Richardson and Fusting both run 84s, but Richardson goes to the next round. Next up in the water, we got Pat Lamont in the Lamont Trailer Sales Undercover Dragster Chevrolet side, and we've got Dean McIlvain, the namesake of the McIlvain Dragster, over there in the Ray Skillman side. Both burnouts complete. Comp eliminator cars, you should be in or on the way to the lanes. Comp eliminator should be in or on the way to the lanes. Third call, comp to the lanes. Here we go. Slight advantage on the starting line went to Lamont, but the win went to McIlvain. McIlvain 6 over at 896. Lamont took way too much stripe, almost a 10th, breaks out by 200s. So Dean McIlvain into round 3. Brian Hackett into Hackett Racing Grand Am. Over here in the Chevrolet side, Chris Balcom in the Mullis dragster. Over there in the Ray Skillman lane. They're identical. On the tree, and the wind light goes to the dragster of Balcom. He's 4 over at 44 with a 4. Hackett's 4 over at 94 with a 7. Wow. 5 thousandths at the finish line for the Mullis dragster of Balcom. Jerry Mellis in the Mellis Brothers M&M dragster. Chevrolet side, Bob Aker, the Freedom Racing Engines, 67 Chevy 2 wagon. He's over there in the Ray Skillman side of the track. And the wind light to Mellis. Aker leaves 11th thou too soon. Mellis out the back door, 88 with a 7. Goes to round 3. And my buy run to complete the round, Corey Baker. Corey gets competition buy run as Cliff Carr should have been in the other lane, but evidently was unable to make the call. Corey from Crawfordsville, Indiana, regular bracket racer here at Lucas Oil Raceway, takes the competition by into round 3. Dad Richard back there watching him. And Corey, 891 with a 4 on the standard into round 3. Good story about his dad. His dad went about 4 or 5 rounds of super gas to Nationals a few years ago in a car that wouldn't run the number. Actually beat Dan Fletcher in the 3rd or 4th round. People in the grandstands kept saying, oh, he's pedaling. I said, no, he ain't. He's had his foot to the floor all weekend. The car just won't run 990. So that completes my round of Super Comp. So top dragsters are at the line. When we go back hot, it'll be Bob Unkerfer talking to you. Right now, the track crew is respraying the track, getting the track all ready for the hard-hitting cars. So Bob will be with you here in a few minutes when we get done with our track prep.
Again, for our top Sportsman competitors, if you're broke, not going to be able to answer the bell for round number 1. Certainly would appreciate you letting us know here in the tower so we can let our alternates be prepared and get ready. Round number 1 of the quickest ever field of top dragsters. First pair coming out, Red Fridge, Matt Sackman. Red, who's letting us know last night in the tower, they needed a big block oil pump in the most worst of possible ways. Most worst of possible way? Whew. My English teacher's rolling over in her grave today. Anyway, they needed an oil pump last night in the most worst of ways because theirs was broke. For them to be able to answer the bell, tip of the cap to Joy Hessling and Ray Conley. They stepped forward and said, hey, we got one. I know there were multiple others out there, but they were the first. French on a 627 dial, dialing down 1 from what they qualified at. I'm telling you, the air is good out there. The day is great. Track's wonderful. Matt Sackman, the Hankstafers.com entry over here on the right-hand side for the CNC Lubricant folks. Matt coming out of Illinois. Qualified a 605. They're dialed down to a 603. Young man, crew member on Antron Brown's top fuel car. Gets to come out and play, and unfortunately goes red. Opening round of eliminations, and Red says, hey, I'll save the wear and tear. 782, 109 miles an hour down at the other end of the racetrack. 12 foul, too quick. And a 606 light. Or a 606 run by Sackman. Hands the win right over to Red Fritch, and Red says, hey, I'll take it. He'll be back for round number 2 a little bit later on. Quickest ever field, top dragster. Quickest ever field of 32 assembled cars in top Sportsman. Great weekend of qualifying so far. For our top dragster, top Sportsman cars. Should be just as interesting as we determine who's going to run whom for round number 2. Mike Trouth, your number 32 qualifier, taking on Christopher Ray's machine. The Elite Performance car over here on the right-hand side. Ray, out of Louisville, qualified 625. Dialed in 625. Trouth, a 642 in qualifying, says she's one better out there. See where they stack up. Red light start. Up in smoke. Mike Trouth, that run wasn't going anywhere. Chris Ray shuts it off, 767, and moves on in to round number 2. So far, still waiting to see where cars go down the racetrack. Side by side. Trouth, 38 too quick out of the gate, and then the car jumped up on the tires. Getting ready to roll in now. As we call top Sportsman to the lanes, top Sportsman needs you to the staging lanes, please. Kathy Fisher, Shanna Snyder, a pair of our ladies getting ready to duke it out. Kathy out of the number 2 spot. For Borla, K&N. Armor Coat and Ohio Crankshaft. 602 in qualifying. Dialed down to a 6 flat this morning. Shanna Snyder dialing down 1 from her 626 qualifying run in the Vintage Trailers machine. Locked in at a 625. She's going to be off and running. Kathy's going to be giving chase. They're on the left-hand side. The Pro Charge machine taking on the blown car. Out of the gate they go. Snyder, a little bit better off the line. Finish line winner picker says Shanna, 626, 212 miles an hour. 602 on the 6 flat by Kathy. 202 thousandths of a second. Margin of victory. Down at the other end of the racetrack for Shanna and the Spitzer vintage trailer machine. So our first pair of side-by-side cars, a 40 thousandths margin of victory. Shanna down at the other end of the racetrack. Cop Eliminator, you should be in the lanes. Top Sportsman needs you to the lanes, please. Darian Bosch rolling up now. 17-year-old youngster out of Louisiana making the toe up. The Profab machine. Identical cars for him and Dad. Marty Cheeseman, your number 1 qualifier. Over on the right-hand side. Marty qualified 601. Dialed down to the 6 flat. 626 in qualifying by Darian. Dialed down to a 625. So much like the pair before them. Both cars dialing down. Just a skosh from their qualifying laps. Let's see if we've got another good side-by-side pair. Getting ready to head down the racetrack. Darian, 17 on the left-hand side. Marty Cheeseman over here on the right, been at this game 3 times as long as Darian's been on the face of the earth. I think that's right, 3 times. Yeah. I wouldn't say he's been at the game, but anyway. Over on the right-hand side, Cheeseman's going to give the young man a handicap start. Darian off and running. Marty out of the gate. A little bit better light. Marty, top end, winner picker. Give it to Marty. 605, 234 miles an hour. Darian, a 6.222 at 215. And Cheeseman on the 6 flat gets down to the other end of the racetrack. Steps off just a skosh. Says, young man, you want the stripe? You can have it. Darian takes it. Just a little bit too quick. Down at the other end of the racetrack. Lynn Ellison rolling in. Lynn, J.B. Straswig, Zach Sackman, Tom Martino. All of them duking it out up at the top of the pile for the points championship here in D3 this year. Lynn and JB came into the weekend tied in points. Straswig going just a little bit further in Thursday's race than what Lynn did. So right now, Ellison, number 2 in the points standings. Trying to get around young Afton Swanson. Afton over on the left-hand side, out of Iowa. Winner at the Menards Nationals over in Topeka earlier this year. Lynn coming off the win last weekend at the points race over in Columbus. Red light start. Afton, 3 foul, too quick out of the gate, and a 28-7 on a 29. Ellison missing a perfect lap by 15 thousandths of a second. Ellison takes the pirate ship and cruises. Sails right on into round number 2, 628 and 215. Afton, 003 red, 603 on the 605 at 229 miles an hour for the young lady out of Iowa. So we continue on. Great side-by-side competition. Ellison, JB, duking it out, fighting it over for the championship. And you know what? If JB wins his opening round matchup, they win.